everybody, it's really cold outside today. It's Super Bowl Sunday, and so I'm going to make some homemade chicken noodle soup for lunch because dinner time we're just going to order pizza and some chicken wings, but I just wanted to show you what I was doing. I have coated the top of each piece of chicken breast with some olive oil. I used my hands and I rubbed it on, and then I did salt and pepper on top, and it's going to go into a 350-degree oven for about 20-25 minutes, and the chicken won't be all the way done, but that's okay. I'll pull it apart, or you can cut it up if you want to, and then we'll add it to the pot, and it'll finish cooking in here. Okay, and then some of the juices will release from that too. So what I'm going to use, I have cut up like 4 stalks of celery, 1 small bag of carrots. I had to peel and chop them, and then 2 chopped onions. I'm going to saute them in some butter and olive oil. I have some chicken broth, parsley, basil, thyme, garlic, and chicken noodle soup. So it's going to be egg noodles. I like the extra wide, but that's going to go in at the very end. And then instead of bouillon, I like to beef up the chicken flavor with, it's called Better Than Bouillon, and this one is the chicken base. It's really super good. So I'm going to get the vegetable sauteing, and I'll be back. Okay, I have some butter and olive oil in the bottom of my pot. I'm going to add in all of the veggies. And we are just going to give these a stir. Got it like on medium heat right now. Once they wilt down a little bit, then I will add the garlic. I don't want to have the garlic too cooked right now. I'm not going to add a lot of salt just because there's going to be salt in the chicken broth, but I want to make sure to put in some pepper, some parsley, ooh, smells good. Parsley's going to add some color to this. And I like to let mine simmer for quite a while before I add the chicken, because I don't want the chicken to get overdone. But once I add the chicken, I still let it go for like a good half an hour. And then just the longer it cooks, the better the flavor. So probably in about an hour and a half. Now, this could be faster. I mean, you definitely could serve this up a lot faster if you wanted to. I just like to let the flavors develop on the stove while I'm going to be studying here in the kitchen, having to torture myself and smell it. So I'm going to let the veggies go for a little bit, and we'll come back and check on them. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes, so I'm going to add the garlic. Give this a stir. Oh man, if you guys could smell this, if you can see it. A lot of steam coming off of here. Maybe you can't see it. Oh, it just smells so good. Now I'm making a big pot of soup because I'll be taking it to lunch for school, and Eric will eat some home, and just it's really cold today. My kids, Shelby and Carlton and Shelby's boyfriend, are going to go down to the beach and do the polar bear plunge, so they're going to come home frozen, and I think that this should warm them up just fine. Carlton, you want to say hi? Show me your eye. Huh? Are you sure? My son's a little camera shy at the moment. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding my liquids. So if you can see, and you can cook this as long as you want to. I like soft vegetables. I don't like mine crunchy in soup. So that's really when it's done, is just when the vegetables are to your liking. So I'm going to add in my box of chicken broth. Now you can use low sodium to control the salt intake yourself. Mine's regular, but this is a 32-ounce or 1-quart box. I get mine in Sam's Club, like 6 come to a box. 6 of these containers go into a box, and for me it's just cheaper doing it that way than, I'm going to go ahead and add the second one too, than buying them individually in the store. And I use chicken broth a lot, so it is a lot better than buying the cans for me, economically anyway. Okay, so again, as far as seasonings, I have salt, pepper, parsley, some thyme, and some basil in here, garlic, 2 onions, 1 small bag of carrots that I've peeled and chopped, and then like 4 stalks of celery. So feel free to put whatever you want in here. This is also just a great basis for a different kind of soup. You can use some ground sausage or bratwurst. You can use, put some beans in here. I'm also going to add some water. I have 4 cups of water. I'm using a pretty big pot today, but it's only to like right here. So, sorry, my husband's watching a movie. So anyway, I'm going to let this simmer for a while, and we'll be back later. Okay, everybody, so the soup has been simmering for about an hour and a half. I put some into a little bowl here to taste for seasonings. I put just a little bit more of the bouillon in there. Now, once the chicken was done, I took it off of the cooking trays and set it onto a cutting mat, and I let it rest for about 10 minutes. By letting it rest, it gives the meat time to reabsorb the juices throughout the fibers. If you were to cut into meat right away, whether it's pork chops or chicken breasts or steaks, if you cut into it right away, all of the juices are at the top because of the heat. So they would run out and you're left with dry meat. So at the very minimum, let it rest 5 minutes. I always do 10. For thicker cuts or roasts or really thick steaks, I do 15, and I just cover it with foil so it stays warm, but you will never have dry meat, that I promise you. And again, for the chicken breasts, I coated them with a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, and what the olive oil does, especially if it's boneless, skinless, like this chicken was, it keeps it from becoming dry during the cooking process. Okay, so in here is 5 thighs and 2 chicken breasts. I saved 1 chicken breast over there for to put on my salad for lunch sometime this week, and I'm going to drop in the chicken. Also, when I took the chicken off of the cookie sheets, I took that juice that was on the cookie sheets and I added it to the soup, because that's just goodness right there. So now I'm just kind of looking around and seeing how this looks. Besides parsley, when I was the other greens you see in there are the celery leaves. There's lots of flavor in the tops of the celery, so not only do I chop the celery, I use the leaves as well. So that's what you see me cooking. I now have my water warming up to boil to make my noodles, and lunch will be served very soon. Okay, everybody, I just tested the egg noodles, and they are al dente, which means they're not quite done. They have a little bit of a bite left to them, so I'm just going to use my handy-dandy little wire thingy here, and I'm going to transfer the noodles to the soup. Now, let me tell you something wonderful about pasta water. If you are ever making a sauce, a spaghetti sauce, any kind of sauce or whatever, and you have pasta water going, if your kids bring someone home from school, or the sauce didn't make quite as much as you wanted it to, and you need it to go a little bit further, and you don't have any more ingredients to make more sauce, all you do is use a ladle or two, just to start slow, you can always add more, of the pasta water. Once the pasta's cooked, because it has released starches into the water, and you add that to your sauce, it will help expand your sauce without really thinning it out. It won't make it watery because of the starch water. And voila, more sauce. Okay, so now let's check this out. Oh my gosh. Oh, guys, it smells so good in here. I would say this is ready to dish up, but I want the noodles to cook in the sauce for a few minutes. I have it turned off now, but it's still really hot. And by putting the noodles in here earlier, or not earlier, but before they were perfectly done, they'll continue to cook in here, and they will absorb the flavor of the broth. And I did not, because there was plenty of salt in this soup, I did not salt my water for the noodles. There was no need to, but look at that, guys. Oh my gosh. My parents are coming over for dinner, or for lunch, and then, well, dinner too. They're just staying for the Super Bowl. And I'm not normally doing, I usually go all out and do a big spread of stuff, but you know what? I needed to study today, and so that I can play tonight, and I just didn't feel like it. So I'm making soup for the kids, especially for when they come home from, they're doing the polar bear plunge, and they're going to be frozen. So, and it's just good comfort food, and it's cold outside, so yeah. And just, well, you know what? Here, let's just go ahead and dish some up. I'm going to cook up some croissants. You could just use crackers if you want to. And as far as the vegetable meat ratio, it's whatever you like. If you like more noodles, put in more noodles. You like less noodles, put in less noodles. If you like more carrots than celery, you know, you can do whatever you want. Look at this. Goodness, people. OMG. That is some homemade chicken noodle soup. You want to make someone feel good? Take them some of this if they're feeling bad or under the weather or just plain sad. This makes everybody happy. So, bon appetit. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.